I'm sorry. Yeah, it is longer. I'm sorry. Okay, now officially welcome to lesson 12 of manhood and masculinity. There. Okay, we good? Michael, you good? You good, Michael? Okay, I'm sorry.
Come ti chiami?
Pietro, Fulvio, Domenico,
Quanti anni hai?
11, 9 e mezzo, 7, 8,
Che vuoi fare da grande?
il pompiere, il cacciatore, il pasticcere, il poliziotto, il saiolo.
Perché?
Perché voglio costruire la casa dei miei sogni. Perché mi piace viaggiare, salvo le persone che non viaggiano.
E lei è Martina. Che ti piace di lei?
Gli occhi mi piacciono, le sue scarpe, le sue mani, però che cosa dire? Sensibilità e suoi capelli, tutto. Era bene la bambina, si cancelleri.
E ora falle una carezza. Falle una boccaccia. E ora dalle uno schiaffo. Uno schiaffo forte. Uno schiaffo. Dai.
We need to give these men a round of applause. I was thinking about it.
No?
No. Ce l'ho dopo. No. No.
No? E perché no?
Ok, non è vero. Non ce lo posso mai dare. Perché le femmine non si picchiano. Perché così si fa male. E perché Gesù non vuole far picchiare. Prima cosa è bellina e non gliela posso dare. Perché è una ragazza. Perché sono contraria alla violenza. Se anche le donne non si devono toccare nemmeno con un fiore. E perché è brutto. Oppure con un mazzo di fiori. E perché sono.
Bro, Rodney, I thought that one little 7-year-old was gonna hit her, bro. He thought about it. He was like,
All right, guys, what we're talking about today is we are talking about how real men act around women. That's what we're dealing with. This is week 12 of the Manhood and Masculinity series that we started way back in August. We did the manhood and masculinity, and then we went to the psychology of. You remember that with all the characters like Pinocchio and all those characters. So what we're doing now is I'm finally finishing up the manhood and masculinity, and then we're probably gonna start it all over because most of you guys didn't hear it, or if you did, it's good to hear again, I guess. You know, so meekness is a big one, right on. That was one that we talked about. So today we're talking about how real men act and treat and how they respect women, okay? And remember to pay attention because there's gonna be pay attention questions for the pay attention prizes. And this week, I'm not coming up with the questions. Because it's about ladies, I asked one of our ladies to actually come up with the questions, okay? And so she's going to actually share the questions after we're done, okay? All right, so here we go. So real men.
wait,
Yes, sir.
Lewis came up with the questions?
So, you're good. But before I do that, would you guys like me to open in prayer for you guys? Would you like me to do that? All right. Ready? All right.
Still add Devin to the prayer.
I can do that. Appreciate that. All right.
Wait, and his family.
Well, clearly. Yeah. All right, everyone be respectful. Be quiet for a minute. Father God, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for these guys. I pray you'd bless and you guide this life skills time. I pray that it would just be a blessing to them, that they would learn and I would learn as well. We would have mutual respect for one another, and they would just go well and you'd bless it. In Jesus' name, amen. And also pray for Devin and his family, and we look forward to having him back here on Monday. I do also pray for Austin as he graduated last Friday and Mikey this Friday. So I pray you'd bless all those guys. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, here we go. Remember, you can interact. I want you guys to interact, but raise your hand, please. Don't just shout it out, that sort of thing. If it's a comment or a question, just pop your hand up, okay? All right. Real men, and I'm just going to kind of list a couple things, kind of talk about them a little bit. You ready? Real men do this. They speak and treat women like women. Okay?
What?
Real men, I'm going to explain, I promise. Real men speak and treat women like women. What that means is many times men are to speak softer to ladies, not just in volume and tone, that sort of thing, but also in how they conduct themselves. It's unchivalrous, if that's a word, to act like a lady is like your bro. You don't talk to a lady like we talk to guys. It's different. Intelligent men realize that women respond better when we speak strongly and confidently, but also with calm and clear words. Sometimes guys aren't like that. Sometimes we're faster and we're more aggressive, and we almost like that. I mean, that's kind of like how we are. But for the most part, ladies don't respond well to that. Intelligent men realize that they respond better to confident and strong words, but also calm and clear. Does that make sense?
Where'd you get your data from?
This shows that you have confidence, not desperation. Okay? Shows you have confidence and not desperation. And what kind of a man is more attractive? A calm and confident one, or one that's loud and panicked? I would agree with you.
Ronnie, I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way. I meant genuinely. Like,
Sure.
how do you get the statistics?
A lot of study and life experience.
Fair enough.
You know, you have kids, right? You know, life, right?
Whoa, bro.
Life experience and a lot of study. Yeah.
I watch
I try to be well read. I try to be.
your Facebook videos.
Oh, do you? Well, that's cool.
About the one with your kids in the gaming ones. Lewis showed me that one.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, right on. Cool. Oh, the one where you get entering their world.
Yeah.
That one, right on. Oh, yeah. I mean, I did that for, well, my son's 19, my daughter's 17. I did it for imperfectly 19 years, and it worked. It worked. Is it working, Lewis? Yeah. Yeah. Let me get you on camera. Oh, you are on camera. You are on camera. Very good. All right, second one. Real men show respect to women, and the specifics goes into the more broad, by holding doors and even giving up seats for ladies. Okay? Those are just a couple examples of things you can do, but why would you do that? What's the big deal? What that does is it actually shows, does that show that you're strong or that you're weak?
Strong.
Why?
Because, you know, you're going out of your way to do something that not a lot of people would do.
Okay. Okay. What do you think, Isaiah?
Because it shows that you're strong enough to take care of her, you're strong enough to, because she's someone you should be gentle to, and you're a man, and you can go without, but she should have treatment.
Okay, you got real close to it there. I mean, whatever you guys said, I think you guys are accurate, but what I'm looking for, you got real close. You said you can go without, right? So it means if you're holding a door for a lady, you don't have to be what? First. You don't have to be first. And if you give up your seat for a lady, what does that show that you don't need?
You put her over yourself.
You don't have to be what? You don't have to be comfortable. You can live life in a successful way without being first and without having to be comfortable.
Be number one in your own life. She needs to be number one.
No, don't.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, I would say.
All right, but do you think you should change yourself for a woman then?
Okay, but if you change yourself for a woman, then you're not the one. She's not with you for you, and then what's the point?
Nah, bro, wait, bro. I'm trying to see what Ronnie's saying.
No, I mean, you're pretty good. this can go off on a lot of tangents. I mean, I get that. And I'm happy to address and answer questions and stuff, but I am going to get through all my notes too. So just so you guys are aware, Mikey would love it if we only went twice as long today, not 3 times as long. Right? Yeah, yeah.
What if we just make it really short?
So what it does is by you holding a door for a lady, giving up your seat, it actually shows that you're strong because it's saying, I can go through life and I don't have to demand to be first and I don't even have to be comfortable. I have, I don't want to embarrass him because this is being recorded, but I have someone close to me, I'll say it that way, a boy, and and he went hunting once. I don't know if you guys have ever done hunting where you sit in a deer stand or a deer blind or whatever. How long do you have to usually sit in a deer stand or deer blind?
Hours.
Long time, okay? Well, he was sitting on just a bucket, this upside down bucket. 20 minutes in, I can't sit here. I can't do it. And then at one point he's like, I can't breathe. And who was with him, I don't want to give it away because it's being recorded, but who was with him was like, are you serious? You can't be uncomfortable for 45 minutes? I mean, it just blew me away. And it was a really funny story. We actually teased him about it today. But if you can give up a seat, if you can get a door for a lady, whatever, it shows that you don't have to be first and that you don't have to be comfortable to still have a good life, to still move through life. You don't need those things, okay? Third thing that a real man does is he takes on the heavier load. He takes on the heavier load. We have broader shoulders as men for a reason, physically. We have broader shoulders. We're designed to carry more weight. I do family counseling, as you know, here. I also do parenting classes here. And a lot of times the guys, the dads, the grandpas, we talk about the man of the house carrying more weight than the rest of the household. We're designed to do that emotionally, relationally, and just time, energy, those types of things. We're designed by how we were made to carry more weight. That's just our nature. We're designed to carry a load. We're also designed to, does anyone remember from weeks ago, people, not just guys, but girls too, our bodies are designed to do something, to go in a certain direction. Does anyone remember this?
No.
Not downhill, but uphill. So next time you're at a set of stairs, you can like skip a step pretty easy, right? Going up.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to skip a step going down?
No.
It's really weird. You should, don't fall. Don't.
The last 4 steps is when I take the lead.
Okay, right. But it doesn't feel as, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of weird. It kind of sets you off a little bit. We're designed to go uphill, and you could say that guys, we're designed to go uphill while carrying a load. We're beasts of burden, you could say. And that's not just physical, it's emotional, relational, etc. We are to be those leaders, those carriers in the household. That's how we're designed. We realize, and in that, as men, we realize that true satisfaction in life actually comes from taking on that responsibility. I tell you what, I've never met a man who did whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and didn't have any responsibility, and he wasn't also what? Depressed. You meet a man who has no, starts with a P, ends with purpose. You meet a man who doesn't have a purpose, and he's just floating through life. He's just doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants, playing video games, has no job, he's not carrying a weight. He's not carrying a weight in life. I promise you, he'll be depressed. I guarantee it. Fulfillment of purpose, taking on that responsibility, that's what gives men non-depressive feelings. That's kind of like your antidepressant, is finding what your purpose. It doesn't have to be even your general purpose. It could be mowing the grass. Who in here likes to mow the grass? A lot of times guys do, because it's immediate result, right? I like mowing the grass because it's like, oh, here's this shabby looking yard. And you start mowing and then, oh, look at that lane I did. It's immediate purpose fulfillment, and it makes me feel good, as an example. We realize that true satisfaction in life comes from taking on responsibility, and a lot of that taking on responsibility is meeting the needs of others, and obviously those that are closest to us. That's what you could say is the general purpose of a man, which obviously includes the women in your life. This would include sisters and grandmothers and moms and aunts and anyone that's a lady that's part of your life. you should have some sort of impact on their life to ease their burden. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
That's kind of why me and my dad get into fights sometimes, because he always be disrespecting my mom and stuff. And sometimes he'll get basically put my hands on.
So I'll jump off of that right now. I'll say it this way. If a man, and we're gonna get into the control issue, I'll say it this way though. If a man physically abuses a woman, he is the weakest and most cowardly man we have. Because he's taking advantage of, say, physical weakness, if that makes sense. For the most part, naturally, men are physically stronger than ladies, for the most part. There's definitely some exceptions, right? For the most part, especially in like an abusive situation, that is a man that he is taking advantage of the weak. And there's nothing less manly than one that takes advantage of the weak, whether that's women, children, whatever you say, whatever you can think of. So that's what I'll say about that. Okay? Here's a couple of things that I like to do to fulfill this, taking the heavier load in my life. So I have two sisters. Of course, they're adults. They're younger than I am. One thing that I like to do is when we're out at family things, maybe we go out to eat, or maybe we're just going getting coffee or whatever. They don't always let me, but I always try to pay for them. Now, I'm not obviously married to them. They're my sisters, right? Do I always get along with my sisters?
Never.
No, not always. But when I have opportunity, I try to pay for them. I mean, I have no obligation, so to speak, to them, but I want to do that because I'm designed to carry the heavier load. That's because I'm a man. Another thing I try to do is with my mom, I try to do like things around the house for her without her asking first. That's what I try to do. Sometimes I miss because maybe I don't realize it's something that needs to be done or she didn't talk about it or whatever. But I try to look around and okay, what are some things that she typically does that I can relieve that burden off of her? That's what a man does, is he looks at the ladies in his life and he says, how can I relieve some of the burden and put that on my shoulders and walk uphill with it? Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
Who pays on the first date?
Oh, absolutely, the man. Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that. All right.
Never that, but
This would include if you have a girlfriend, eventually if you have a spouse, they shouldn't have to ask you to take care of them. Okay? If they're asking, you're failing. Okay? They shouldn't have to ask you, and I don't mean like things that are not appropriate, right? I mean there's boundaries in a relationship. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
Well, you kind of just answered my question, but I was gonna say, like, me and my girlfriend, our favorite, because we met in Grand Haven. One of her things like she likes to do a lot. She like when tulip time. She liked buying like a whole bunch of tulips. Last year
Yeah.
she made me feel so bad when I didn't get her the tulips that she wanted. But then I was like, because I work with my uncle doing lawn care, and I was just like, I don't really want to. I felt like so bad after that.
what's that have to do with this?
Well, I'm glad you kind of felt bad about it a little bit, right?
But I'm saying
It's a good lesson, though.
like, she shouldn't have to ask for me to like buy her flowers. I get that.
Sure.
But those tulips during tulip time, they begin expensive.
Do what you can. I mean, there's boundaries in a relationship, right? I mean, it is what it is. But do what you can when you can. That's a good way to say it. All right. Let's see here. So, in a nutshell, for that point there, that take on the heavier load, the women in your life, whether it's family, sisters, girlfriend, eventual spouse, that sort of thing, they should never have to ask you to step up and be a man. They should actually be telling other people how you are showing yourself being the man without you even realizing. That's how it should go. And the reason I'm, what I've told you before, the reason that I'm sharing these things with you, these are lessons that I either learned as a young man or wish I would have learned as a young man. That's why I'm trying to give you guys opportunity to hear it now, if that makes sense. Okay? All right, I'm going to move on to just a couple of what real men do not. Is there any questions though or comments on the real men do ones?
No.
Yes, sir?
So you said that you had wish you would have learned these when you were our age, right?
Yeah.
So you trying to say that you didn't marry the girl of your dreams?
I did.
Did you marry your first love, bro?
No.
No.
You sound crazy.
Imperfectly, I have tried to treat the women in my life with the utmost respect, whatever that means. Imperfectly. I never, did it perfectly, right? But I made real efforts too. And I still do, to be honest.
Don't you think that, yeah, always treat women with respect. Don't you think that they should treat you with respect too, though?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
What do you think like a toxic relationship is?
One that
'Cause a lot
is
of
found,
people- a lot of people say it's different things, you know what I'm saying?
sure.
But based on, cause since you like a wise man, what would you say it is?
Okay, so if you guys didn't hear, Jackson asked, he first said, women should respect you. And I said, absolutely. And then he asked, what is the characteristics of a toxic relationship? Is that basically what you said? Okay, I would say this. I don't really like the term toxic, but I'm not gonna get into that right now.
Tell what you use.
Dysfunctional.
All right, so what do you
Yeah.
think it-
The reason, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why I don't like the word toxic. But the answer to your question that I would say is this. One that is founded on selfishness. By both or one or the other.
Can you elaborate?
No, that's actually.
So I can elaborate. So my answer is what makes a dysfunctional relationship or toxic relationship? And my answer was one that's founded on, and I use that term specifically, founded on selfishness. I say founded on because if you're gonna build a house, you have to have a solid foundation. And if that foundation is, what can I get out of the relationship? What can I get out of this or whatever? You will be disappointed. It should be the other way around. What can I give this relationship? What can I give this foundation? And if both people are doing that, guess who gets fulfilled or gets satisfied? Both of you do. But if you both are saying, what can I get out of it? Who gets satisfied? In the end, nobody, right? Because we are not who, ultimately?
Perfect.
And who?
Jesus.
God. We're not God. It doesn't even matter if you believe in like the Christian faith. If you go into a relationship saying, I need my life to be fulfilled because this person's gonna give that to me, you are actually putting them in the pedestal of a God and you're worshiping them.
Wait, do you believe what Jesus
And
said?
if you do that, because they're human, ultimately they'll what? Fail you. And so now your God is false. And you say it's been all for naught. Is that enough elaboration, Isaac? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, very good. Okay, let me get these. A couple real men do not. You ready? Real men do not seek to control women. This could be through manipulation, lying, verbal, or of course, physical abuse. Real men do not seek to control women in those ways, and there's more ways, but those are just ones that I thought of. It is not a man's job, nor responsibility, nor obligation, whatever you want to say, to control a woman. It doesn't matter if it's your mom, it's your grandma, sister, aunt, girlfriend, spouse, whatever. Let me ask you this. Who is ultimately responsible for what you do?
Yourself.
Who then is ultimately responsible for what they do? Themselves. Now, can you have impact in someone's life? Can you have suggestions? Can you say, hey, what do you say? Influence, that's a good word. Can you have influence on someone else's life? Obviously. But like what I'm doing right now, am I trying to control you guys right now?
You're trying to inspire.
I'm trying to inspire influence. And so what that does is I give you information, you guys interpret it, however you're gonna interpret it, and then my hope is that you then take and do in something similar to what I'm trying to say. That's the goal. I don't want to, nor could I ever control anyone in here. And that goes for men and ladies as well. Now, I think maybe Isaac, you kind of mentioned, or no, Caleb, I don't remember. One of you guys kind of mentioned this idea. Maybe Jackson or you, I don't know. Are there mutually agreed on boundaries in a relationship?
Of course.
Obviously. If you're gonna get into a relationship, there's even some assumptions you can make. If we're gonna be together, let's say it's like a girlfriend situation, if we're gonna be exclusive, I'm assuming then you're not gonna go out and be with 15 other guys, right? I mean, is that not a safe assumption? That should be a safe assumption. And if she or you break that assumed agreement, then that relationship is what?
Toxic.
Toxic or
Dysfunctional.
dysfunctional. Thank you. Hunter's here. Thank you, Hunter. Very good.
It's broke.
So we could agree something like, don't lie to each other. That could be an agreement. We could agree, we're going to prioritize this relationship as exclusive. I get to you, Moses. We could agree that we're going to show mutual respect to one another. We could agree that we're going to be gracious towards each other, knowing that we're going to make mistakes sometimes. That could be a mutual agreement. So both men and women, they do have the right to say, hey, the way you're treating me is not okay. That's okay to say that. It's okay to say, you know, hey, you're going in this direction, you're going down this path. That's not a good idea. And here's why I think that is. That's totally okay. That is showing boundaries, so to speak, within a relationship, but it's not control. And I'm going to continue here in just a minute, but Moses, you had a thought?
I was gonna say, cause like that's something I had learned. I don't remember exactly where I learned it, but it was like something that said to me. It was like you always set your boundaries like before you start a relationship, because I'm like that's gonna make her think like, oh yeah, he respect himself and he got like boundaries for himself, and then that means that he gonna like respect me and treat me right. Like I heard that before.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Sounds like a smart guy.
I don't remember who told me that.
Isaac, are you good? Okay. All right. Da-ba-da-ba-da. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. The second thing that real men do not do, and I see this, that's why I bring this up. And maybe it's later in life, maybe it's not, maybe it's you guys in one form or another. But I do see this in later in life, especially when you know, someone's maybe been married for a long time or whatever. Real men do not blame the women in their life for their own failures. I say that because I see that too much.
But what if it is her fault?
Yeah, facts. What if she spent like all your money?
What if she like? What if she like? What if she like? I need a new G-Wagon.
Oh yeah, she for the streets. I'm not playing. Oh, yeah.
I am going to elaborate, I promise. Yes, sir?
What about the guys that don't feel like they can talk about some of the stuff, like if they feel like they're the ones getting, like if they feel like they're getting controlled in a situation? Because, I mean, a lot of guys' mental health gets overlooked because, and it get looks upon more of on the female side of that thing because, and also, yeah, men don't feel like they don't want to be called. I'm not gonna say the word, but
I got you.
yeah, but exactly, they don't want to be called that. They feel like they're obligated to be the bigger person. But then, what about the guys that can't talk about that kind of stuff?
Sure. So that is a topic for a whole nother lesson, right? But it does go. You are right, Caleb. It does go both ways. It does go both ways. So I think Jackson maybe said it. That mutual respect. Like he asked, well, shouldn't the lady respect the man as well, etc. Absolutely. But what I'm trying to give what you guys is on your end, right? Because really, ultimately, we can only control ourselves, right? So the reason I'm bringing these up is I see some of these problems in our adult guys today, and so again, I'm trying to give you guys something that I wish I would have heard when I was your age, if that makes sense. But you're not wrong; it does go both ways, and I would agree with that statement. Yes, sir.
If you want to end your relationship, do you think it's better to end it slowly or end it like
Rip the Band-Aid off.
completely?
It really depends.
Depends on the girl.
Yeah. So it. Hold on. So it does really depend on that. I would talk with someone about the specifics in that because you could be causing damage either way, right? So for example, if she does not see it coming at all and you have not given her the benefit of the doubt to say, hey, we have a problem, can we fix it? And you just pull the rug out from under her, that's not fair, right? But also if problems are aware, right? If we know of problems, whatever, it's just not working. If you continue the relationship, you could cause more damage to you and her, if that makes sense. So it does depend. So I would talk to someone specific about it, but not right now, but go ahead.
Do you think it's like anyone's certain job to end the relationship? Like if there's a man and woman, right? So should the man end the relationship or should the woman end it?
Bro, it depends on what's happening.
It does depend. The only thing I would say is if it ends in a healthy way or a needed way is a better way to say it. If it ends in a needed way, it's the person that holds their boundaries and has more self-respect that will end it than the person that doesn't.
You know how rare it
Does
is?
that make sense? Yeah.
You know how rare it is for it to end in a healthy way, though, bro?
Well, unhappiness doesn't mean it's not healthy, but we can get that.
What if it ends out in an argument? Like, what is she like? Oh, I just want to. Like, what is she like that?
She has the right to respond in the way she's going to respond. All right, I do want to keep moving, but go ahead.
She's psycho.
Go ahead.
Alright, my bad, right? So I was thinking, like, I ain't gonna lie, if you in a relationship where you feel like you're getting controlled by the female,
That you're getting controlled?
just the way I look at that is, like, I feel like then you should be wearing the dress at the wedding, because that's just weird to me. Like, in the relationship, you're supposed to be, like, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be, like, the, I don't
Top
wanna say,
dog.
like, alpha, but, like, you're supposed to be the person, like, steering or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Have the reins.
So, right, had the reins, so, like, if you in a relationship where you're getting, like, controlled by another female, like, that shit, I don't understand that.
If-
Don't you feel like
if
that's,
you-
ain't that an unhealthy relationship in itself?
Well, that's actually what I was going to say. If you feel like you're being controlled, there's issues there. If you're feeling that way, and it's possible she doesn't even realize it. If that is possible. Hold on. So if you feel like you're being controlled, there is issues there that need to be addressed before you get to the altar. I don't care who's wearing the dress. Okay. Aiden, do you have a question? You good? Okay. All right, let me finish this up, guys, if that's okay. So I made the statement, and I'm going to elaborate on it. Real men do not blame women for in their life for their own failures. You heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again. No matter where you find yourself in life, whether good or bad, can anyone finish it? It's all
right.
your fault. Wherever you find yourself in life, whether good or bad, it's all your fault. This is personal responsibility. And if you bring this into your life, which I'd recommend each one of you do, the negative is you have to accept the weight of your mistakes. Willie, you have to accept the weight of your mistakes, right? If you have real and personal responsibility. The positive is you get to enjoy the benefits of your successes. Does that make sense? Yeah. To where if you're always giving it over to someone else, if you fail, I can blame it on somebody else. But if you succeed, you can't take credit for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So that's what real personal responsibility is all about. Now, can a good woman in your life, whether it's a girlfriend or a mom or an aunt or whatever, can a good woman encourage and motivate you to do good? Is that possible? Yes, thank you, Hunter. Someone's with me. Can a woman also discourage you and make you feel bad? Yes. Of course they can. But ultimately, who is responsible for your success or failure? It's you. It's you. That's right. I got one more thing. Go ahead, Isaac.
I'll let you finish.
Okay, all right. I just want to share this with you. This is pretty cool. There's actually a story in the Bible. Whether you read the Bible, believe the Bible or not, it's a really cool story. It's in the book of Genesis in chapter 3. This is right after the original Adam and Eve, the original man and woman, ate from the tree that they weren't supposed to eat from. And I want to read this to you, and then I want to show where this has been a problem since day one. So this is out of Genesis 3, Genesis chapter 3, starting in verse 8. It says, Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, Where are you? He answered, I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. And he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from? The man said, The woman you put here with me, she gave me some of the fruit, and I ate.
Ooh, he blamed her.
Adam, the first man, we failed from the get-go. The first guy, the first thing he does wrong, and he's confronted with it, he says, What did you do? He says, The woman that you gave me, it's what? Her fault. He first blamed Eve, but ultimately, who did he actually blame? God himself. Isn't that wild? So instead of just owning up to it, like, you told me, I'm the man, I didn't own up. He says, the woman that you gave me, by the way, she gave me the fruit.
I would be scared of
and I
God
ate.
too.
Well, of course you'd be scared. So the point is, hold on, stay with me. I'm almost done. The point is, this has been an issue from day one. That's one of the reasons why I bring this up, is men hate to look at their own failings. So they will look at anything they can to say, this is why I failed. Because if I can deflect the blame away from who? me from myself and put it on something else. Oh, it's the economy's fault. Oh, it's my daddy's fault. Oh, it's the court's fault. Oh, it's Pineview's fault. Oh, it's my PO's fault. Oh, it's my wife's fault. It's my kid's fault. It's my bank account. It's my career. It's my... Shut up. Just zip it. Guys who are real men, they own up. And they say, you know what? I messed up. I'm going to move forward from this, but I'm going to own what I did. It's been a problem since day one. And it's been how many years? And it's still a problem for us. So I want to encourage you guys. I've never heard this when I was your age. That's why I'm giving it to you now. When you run into a problem, you mess up, and we all mess up. If you run into a problem, if you mess up, man, the first thing, just own it. Oh, you're right, I messed up. Because what happens is, if we say we didn't mess up, if we blame, what usually goes along with blaming in your speech?
Lying.
Bingo, lying. And then when you blame and you lie, what do you have to do once you tell one lie? You gotta tell another one, and you gotta tell another one, and you gotta tell another one. So next time, if you guys are on a home visit, and you come back and you drop dirty, just be like, yeah,
I did that.
it's what it is. I did it. Just own it.
Just don't drop dirty.
Yeah, well, don't drop dirty in the first place. That's right.
That should drop
All right, very good. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Aiden. Hold on. Go ahead, Aiden. I'm sorry.
What if you really didn't do anything?
If you really didn't do anything, stand on that truth. Stand on it, but you better be able to prove it. Because here's the issue. Let's say you've had a track record, possibly. I'm not saying you do, but if you have a track record of, just use dropping dirty as an example. Say you've dropped dirty 5 times in a row, and then you come back and you drop dirty, but you swear you didn't. Do you think the world is going to believe you?
No. Now, my next question is, how would you prove that you didn't?
Honestly, because life is what it is, sometimes you won't be able to prove it. Sometimes you won't be able to prove it. And there's sometimes, if you've built a reputation, you may have to pay for sins that you didn't commit.
So if you don't have that reputation,
That's the key.
Yeah.
If you don't have the reputation. If it surprises you, like just use the drop and dirty as an example, right? So if someone didn't have the reputation and they come back and drop dirty, and it's like, okay, that's kind of, it doesn't make sense, right? If it doesn't make sense, okay, then there's something going on, right? But if you've had a reputation, for example, of dropping dirty, it is what it is. So your reputation is going to affect you in the future. That's the same difference of short-term consequences versus long-term consequences. Does that make sense? Is that helpful at all? Okay. Yes, sir. Hold on, LeVar. You gotta raise your hand. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Caleb.
My mom says all the time, what you do in the past is always going to catch up to you in the present.
Here's something that you can count on. This is a rule. Like this is as solid as gravity. You ready? You'll never get away with it. It is true.
It's not illegal. What if you do though?
I'm not saying immediately. You may get away with it immediately, but there will be a cost later. I don't care what you do, big or small. I promise you, it's a rule of life. You'll never get away with it. Well, I mean, he does see it. Okay, any other questions, comments, anything, concerns?
No, sir.
Jude, you got something? Yes, no, you don't? I can't hear you. Are you still paying for that? Like in your mind, emotionally? Darn straight you are. Yeah? Yeah. But there is forgiveness, and there is grace, and you can move on. Okay? All right. Miss Fawn, if you wouldn't mind coming up for the pay attention prizes. LeVar, did you have a question that you didn't raise your hand for? You don't remember? Okay. All right. Miss Fawn is going to ask you the question. Guys, listen carefully.